gonna have a church without music, or else turn around inside of me and just go over there. And my whole perspective of music changed.
Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the Pitch Podcast. I'm your host, Rohan Graham, also known as Uncle Ru. All right, so the Pitch Podcast. Yes, this is where musicians and singers, upcoming artists, this is a hangout spot for gospel musicians. This is where we meet and we just have different conversations. Mainly talking about our musical journey. I know I, for one, has been on the journey for quite some time. But still, I feel like I'm still starting. All right, in studio, we have a very good friend of mine, excellent musician. He's one of the best around town. We are coming to you from Mandeville, Central, Jamaica. All right, and this person is one of my inspiration, and I'm just so excited to have him in studio. None other than the teacher himself, the general. Help me welcome Sir Eddie, Sir Junior, Sir Edward Reid Jr. Welcome, sir. How you do, Eddie?
Greetings and
Welcome.
respect.
All right, sir.
Man.
All right,
Yeah, it's good to be here.
All right, so yeah, introduce yourself. Who is Eddie? Eddie Reid.
Eddie. That's what they call me in primary school.
Yeah.
Eddie, high school. Eddie, college. And even where I'm teaching now, Eddie, you know. Edward Reid, Edward Carl Reid is actually my name, junior. I'm actually junior to the senior. So my father was Edward Carl Reid
Okay,
as well.
right.
Yeah, so that's how I got junior.
Yes,
So
yes.
most of my life, Junior is a pet name.
Right, because I know you as Junior. I mean, I don't remember where I was and they said Edward. And I was like, who that? Who is Edward?
Different somebody.
Because for the years that I've known you is Junior.
Okay.
Junior, that's Junior. So I thought you were
Well, Edward is a Czech name. Czech,
right.
Yeah,
So yeah, we are talking about our musical journey. Where are you now in your musical journey?
No, I'm humbled to say at a professional level.
Yes.
Teaching at a high school, all girls school.
Right.
Playing for different artists as well, you know. But it's quite different from many years ago when you're learning music. So not just in the classroom teaching, but teaching younger ones to different instruments.
All right. So you would say you're just entering the professional. I mean, you have been in the professional arena for quite some time.
For quite a while.
But you're there now.
Quite a while now, but level has stepped up.
Right.
Responsibility has maximized. Currently, minister music.
Right.
Minister for my church. From 2006.
Okay.
So I've been playing there from 2006, and I was appointed MD some years ago.
Okay.
So that's a huge step for me, you know.
Right.
Yes, and even at the school I am now, actually the position of HOD is in my hands too. So I'm humbled to be at such a level. I never thought about it, but
right. I'm so happy for you, man, because we've been on this journey for quite some time.
Quite a while.
And I mean, we have stories up on top
man.
of stories
Yes,
that
man.
we wouldn't have time to mention some of them. But we have been on the road.
Just experiences over the years. I can name many experiences, you know.
So yeah, your background. How did you get into music? Your parents played. Anybody in your family?
My mother and father were musicians, you know. When I say may their soul rest in peace, they are now resting. But my mother and father were musicians. My mother was a trained pianist. So she knew how to read notes, and my maternal mother also learned to play music as well. My father was a musician. He played
Okay.
drums, bass, guitar, um, acoustic guitar, and so on.
Hmm.
And he even had a sound system for himself.
Right. I
So
remember. I remember
yes,
him.
it's Covenant, I think the name was at that time. So I was
Hmm.
actually brought up in a
In a
musical family.
musical family.
Yes.
Okay.
So both my sister and myself um, are musicians. She actually loved the drums, so she fool around it when she ready.
Right. Right.
But I took it up um, knowing that I really had a passion for it.
Hmm. Yeah, similar story to mine. My father played, my brother also played. He was
Okay.
actually, my brother was actually my first music teacher too.
Oh,
And they both passed now, so may
okay.
their soul
Rest
rest
in
in
peace.
peace again.
Yes.
Father was a pastor, so I was brought up in
Okay.
the church.
Okay.
And music ministry was what I was
Mm-hmm.
drawn to.
Yes, yes, yes.
So similar story. But good to know, man, that you
Mm-hmm.
have that strong
Mm-hmm.
musical
Mm-hmm.
background. So what inspired you then to start pursue the music now?
When I was younger, I actually heard music on the radio. There was a particular program on come on 7 o'clock every evening. I think it's called the concert hour
Oh
on
yes, I
Love
remember.
101. And I heard some playing. I would never imagine that a piano can sound that way.
Right, right, right.
And without me knowing that I would one day play the piano, I sat there wondering what was happening for the entire hour. So I
Hmm.
realized that there was something about music that drew me
Right,
there
right,
and
right.
then. But before, my first instruments were drums and bass guitar. So when I used to spend holiday with my grandmother in St. Elizabeth, it's a big thing for me because I enjoyed going down there because I played drums when I ready, I played the bass guitar when I ready, and
Yeah, I
every Sunday,
remember them days.
yes, man.
Like you're living at the church.
Oh Lord, man. Yes, man.
Every time you go send to your day
Sent
at
it
church.
in the church playing.
Yeah, I
Yes,
remember
man.
them days.
That was spending holiday, summer holiday, and I actually lived down there, moved down there in the early 2000s, and it was also a journey for me because when you move to some place new and to migrate and move down there, yes,
Hmm.
you the drums were there, the bass guitar was there. I don't think a keyboard was there. But one of her church sister knew that I played keyboard, so her church sister bought a keyboard and sent it to the church.
Hmm.
So when I saw the keyboard came, my daily routine was to get up, maybe have a breakfast.
Hmm.
From 8 o'clock, I went in
Yes.
the church and I played all three instruments.
Right,
Those
right.
days I used cassette.
Yes, those
Cassette.
were the
So you know what that
cassette
means?
days.
Yeah, man.
These young people don't know about
I
cassette,
don't. Yes. You
Yeah.
show them now. They might ask what is that.
Right,
Maybe some
right,
kind
right.
of device. Cassette
Hmm.
days, man. Cassette days. You have to wind up the with a pencil.
Right.
In case it kind of reload.
Hmm.
And catch it back. But yeah, those are my
Yeah,
foundation.
yeah, because the musicians know they have a whole lot of
I tell
resources
you, they
that
have many things,
than
yeah, man.
in our time, because we
Mhm,
are 90s
mhm,
musicians.
mhm.
And when we're coming
Yes,
up, I mean, you have to look over and see what somebody is playing to
yes,
learn
yes,
something,
man. Mhm.
you know, in the early days,
Yes,
or, get
yes,
somebody, go around somebody who knew more than you
yes.
to learn learn some chords and some
Mhm.
progressions.
And
But
those,
these musicians
mhm.
today, they have
They have
a
everything
lot
in
of
their hands now.
resources.
Everything in their hands now. You can go on
YouTube,
Google, YouTube, all sort of you know, different video
right, right, showing you
on
exactly what you
everything you
want to
want.
learn.
and it's
So
and it's so plenteous that you don't know which one to choose from. Those days, we never have any choice.
right, 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 right.
A person that play keyboard, as I said, you have to watch them and ask them what they're doing there. First time we
Yeah,
never know to see could have hold the second inversion and
right,
first
right,
inversion, and then no, it kind of sparkled me from there. Why a chord or a particular progression sound a particular way,
right,
you know.
right. So tell me, what was one of your first big gig? Playing
Um,
for.
one of my
Uh,
first big gigs. Well, actually, I learned to play notes. I'm a music teacher. My father realized that I loved music.
Mm.
So he decided to send me to music school to learn to read notes. And the teacher there, he had a group. The group during that time was offering. They entered JCDC.
Yeah, I remember that group.
Yeah, man. They entered JCDC. And they won 1998 with the song Cover Me, Jesus, Cover Me.
Mm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I
And
remember that song.
yeah,
Nice,
just
nice
nice,
song.
nice song. But I
Mm.
wasn't playing keyboard at that time. But he actually taught me to read notes, and maybe 2 months after that, I started playing for the group.
Okay.
Yes, so one of my
Mm.
first big gigs was when it was, I believe it was in Spalding's, when I heard that they were going to sing. I was really excited, really, really excited
Mm.
um, to be on the stage. My playing was always in church, but to
Yes,
go on
right.
stage and play for a big, group, yeah, man,
Yeah,
it,
and
it, it
I
hmm
can relate. I know the
yeah,
feeling
man.
because one of my first big gig was with a group named Peace and Love.
Oh Lord, man,
Yeah, that group was something else. They
I
were
don't know.
different. I mean, they had this international sound, and I was
Trust me,
always, excited to hear them, perform on a concert.
believe you me.
So what I did, I learned all the songs that they, that they sang. They used to do the Kirk Franklin's,
Uh, the
Fred
Fred Hammond,
Hammond's,
Hezekiah
Hezekiah
Walker,
Walker,
John
and them
P.
so
Key,
John
old
P. Key, oh
school thing.
Lord,
Yes, man.
man, and I
Peace and love.
learned as much as those songs as I
Yes,
could.
yeah.
But I remember I was at home in my bed, and they came, the group leader, Nicholas, wherever you are, big up yourself. And
Oh,
Nicholas
Big Nick.
came, Big Nick. They couldn't find the main musician, and they asked me to play for them. Man, I was so
Nice.
excited.
Oh,
And I mean, long and short,
man.
I went to the concert and I played some Kirk Franklin they did that night. And
Yes.
they just asked me if I knew the Kirk Franklin. I said, yes. And
Man,
man, that
I tell you.
was history, man. And from there on, I started playing for
Discipline.
the group. I mean, auxiliary keys
Mm-hmm.
because Bradford,
Mm-hmm.
the great
Right.
Bradford, he was the main
Albert. Yes, man.
Albert.
Yeah, man.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was my
Yes.
first gig.
Yeah. And I remember playing with Bradford some years ago. Marvel Providence came 2004. And we had 3 concerts, and Bradford and myself played keys. I
Right,
was
right,
auxiliary keys, you know. And that was one of my biggest
right. Playing
events
for
too.
Marvia
Marvel
Providence.
Providence, those days. Yes. Yeah,
That's
man. Hear my
awesome,
cry,
man.
oh Lord. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Them song there. It's a humble
yeah,
experience, man.
Big, yeah. And remember that we both played for Peace and Love too,
Yes,
because
yes.
after Albert
After,
passed,
mm-hmm.
we
Then I
both and
feeling and so on. Mm-hmm.
we both started playing for the group.
Yes, yes.
Those were some great days, man.
Great days, man.
Yeah,
Patrick, I remember keyboardist.
yeah. Patrick,
Oh God, I tell
oh
you,
man, oh man.
Patrick,
Patrick was
man,
the
was on
Godfather.
Godfather. Yeah, man, he was the
Yeah,
Godfather.
man, he taught us well. I'm telling you, he taught us well. The discipline.
Yes, man.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, musicians today, they hats off to them. They play really skillful.
Mm-hmm. I tell
But
you,
sometimes that discipline, they don't have
is
that
not,
discipline.
no.
But I guess that's where the music is now.
Yeah,
It's
that's
no
true.
discipline.
That's true. And what inspired me too, when I saw Patrick first, I saw him come on the keyboard and I saw him, around there. So, just I thought he was just like fooling around. Never know that he could play keyboard. So I was on the piano trying to do something. And when I hear Patrick play two
Mm.
cards, you see, I think two cards. I don't know if I
Yeah.
one or two,
Yeah,
and I
same experience.
can't remember myself getting up and walking over to Patrick. It's like
Mm.
something turn around inside of me and just go over there. And my whole perspective of music changed.
Same
Because
for me.
how Patrick played, it's like
Mm.
he had the notes in front of him. Patrick
Right.
never wasn't formally trained.
Right, right, right.
Patrick was just, a gift. And
Man.
it changed my perspective, and I really appreciate how he did things with the music at that time. Because when he used to play, he used to write down the words, and he write down the notes, the chord over the bass, and so on.
Yeah, man.
I
That's
tell
how
you, man.
I'm doing
Yeah,
things.
so that was discipline. So I started to develop that discipline too. You
Same
know?
here.
Yes.
Hats off to you.
Appendix.
Appendix.
Yeah, man.
Big up yourself. Which camera
Big
are
up.
we talking about? I want to hear anyone. Big up
Anyone.
yourself, Appendix. Man, you
Patrick,
really
man.
taught us well.
Just, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and that leads me to, I mean,
Mm.
this is really a sore point now in the church.
Mm-hmm.
I think it reached a crisis now. And I'll just ask you, where are the musicians? Because it seemed like, I mean, we grew up in the 90s, and the musicians that grew up with us, they're nowhere to be found. I mean, they're not around. I mean, it may be
It's either
migration or whatever.
migration
But
or
in the church now, the music
yes,
ministry, I mean, many
the
churches,
churches are suffering
they're suffering.
right now.
Mm.
Um,
So what
some
do
major
you think
crisis.
are some of the things causing that,
Um,
contribute to that?
they say encouragement sweeten labor. So even though the
Mm.
pastors come to the church and they give the word and so on, a church without music is not
Mm.
the church you want to be a part of.
Yeah, especially young people. You
Young
can't get
people,
young people
you
to
have to
come in.
gravitate. They're gravitated to the music,
Mm.
And you find that the churches that don't have much music, elderly people, mostly elderly people are there because young people don't know have anything to grab them, you
Right,
know.
right,
But on another point where you don't have encouragement for the
right.
musicians,
Mm.
they don't feel as if they are appreciated.
Yeah.
So there you find that musicians are nowadays at the hotel or
Mm.
on the ship
Right, right.
or playing secular music, and you find that those musicians were also brought up in church, either the pastor's son or pastor's grandson. Because
Mm.
I'm a grandson of a pastor, my grandmother,
Right,
you
right.
know. Um, and trust me, the music out there gravitates
Mm. It
to
would.
musicians, and
Mm.
musicians will find themselves out there where they are encouraged.
Right.
But
So the lack of encouragement is a,
encouragement is
and I
way down.
mean, I saw it coming long years, donkey years
Yes.
back, as we say in Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah, and I went to heads of big denomination and I spoke to them about, you know, harnessing the young
Mm.
musicians, encouraging them, training them.
Yes. Yes.
Even I said, even building a school for
Mm-hmm.
musicians, teach them about music
Mm-hmm.
ministry. Because I don't think some of these big denomination back then took
Yes.
the music serious,
That's true. No.
and they're suffering, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're
Mm-hmm.
suffering
Mm-hmm.
because I'm getting a lot of calls.
Me
The
too.
churches are calling me left, right, and center, as I'm saying,
And
trying to find musicians, trying to, you know,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I
fill
get
their
calls too.
services.
I get calls and saying, "Boy, I know you're busy."
Hmm.
That's the first thing they're going to say. But if you know anybody who can fill in or
Right.
substitute, I would appreciate it. And I said, "All right, I'll try my best." And on a sad point, it's hard to really say you're going to find good musicians as well as disciplined musicians
Right.
too.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
so and
You have
musicians
to
who I'd
be.
recommend they're
Hmm.
already in church or they're at a greater distance from the
The location and
location.
so. Right.
But
Right. That's a good
um,
point to make because
mhm,
you can't recommend anybody
no, because who
because
you recommend will reflect you too.
exactly.
You know,
And
and
the ones that you can recommend, they're already
already
committed to
committed to another.
a fellowship,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
So it's really a sore point.
Yes, but
Crisis, if you want to be blunt
mhm, I think it's
and
a
frank.
culture that needs to change in Jamaica.
Yeah,
I
so,
don't know how best we can encourage churches to look into, you know,
mm,
making it happen.
yeah, we have to talk some more on that. We have
Yes.
to have some more conversation around it. Yes, sir, Eddie. So as we wrap up this
Yes.
session, this episode was so fun and it was a
Yes.
joy, having this
Hmm.
conversation.
Yes, man.
And of
Thank you.
course, this will be an ongoing conversation, especially as it relates to the music ministry and helping the church in general to enhance
Yeah,
that era
that's true.
and to build back
Hmm.
because it's really it has
Hmm.
been broken down.
Hmm.
So we want to help churches to build that back.
They need assistance, man. It's a
So
never-ending topic, though.
yeah, we
Yeah.
want to present some solutions,
Hmm.
not just because we're not here to bash churches because we
No.
were grown up in the
Right.
church. We want to see
Hmm.
the
And we are
church.
still inside of the church, so
Yeah, we're still inside of
right.
the church,
Yeah. So
and
yes.
we want to see the church reach a level where, young people,
Hmm. Hmm.
because young people, they are the future.
Hmm.
They are,
Hmm.
what keeps the
Yes.
church, going. So we have to attract them.
That's
And
true.
as you
Hmm.
said earlier, music is a big part of
It's a big part
you
of the
know
worship.
worship and
Yes, a
you
big
know.
part. You can't have a church without music, or else you're going to
Mm,
find empty chairs.
right, right,
You're
right,
going to find two elderlies with a tambourine, and that's it.
right, right,
But as
right.
long as you have good music, I can guarantee you, young people are going to be coming in. They're going to be inviting them friends. Because
Mm,
sometimes you wonder how they come to church, but you don't know what the impact you're making on their lives too. You
right,
know,
right, right,
not just the word, not just the singing, but the discipline, and two, not just playing, but ask that for the anointing to play. You can
right,
play
right.
one card as it is,
Mm,
but you being anointed, you play the same card and it sounds different.
different. Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
has to be something that draws um, young people
Yeah, as the Bible says, not by might nor by
by
power,
power,
but
but
by the
by the
Spirit.
Spirit.
So it's not how skill you can play,
No,
but
no.
you have to be,
Mm,
playing under that.
yes. Yeah, man. And coming from a biblical perspective too, David was anointed. He
Hmm.
played the harp, and the
Right.
demons left such man.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's even, leading
That
us to our final question. What do you have to say to the younger musicians coming up? I mean, any word of encouragement? But just before
yeah.
you answer that,
Mm,
you shared something on your status.
mm,
Your Let me see if I can find it here.
mm.
You shared something on your WhatsApp status,
Yes.
and I found it very interesting. And I saw it, I screenshot it.
Yes.
It
I
says,
think I remember.
if I do a job in 30 minutes, it's because I spent 10 years learning how to do that in 30 minutes.
Right.
You owe me for the years, not the
Not the.
minutes.
I tell
Yeah,
you, I saw it. And that goes for any profession at all.
right, right,
Yes,
true.
any profession.
Mm, not just music.
Not just music. So it goes to show that you can do a job in 30 minutes, but the job being done in 30 minutes, you're able to do so without years of experience.
Right,
You
exactly.
know?
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember a quote some time ago. Somebody, an engineer, um, fix a thing in 2 minutes.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
man. And people were wondering why I'm charged so much. And
mm.
he made the point that, all right, pay me for the experience, not the time
Right, right,
the
right.
work was done. And they realize now that it's not just a 2-minute work, but it has speaks about experience.
Yeah, as you talk about years, I mean, we have been in this for over a quarter
Yeah,
century.
man. Almost
It's
30 years.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
almost 30 years, and I
time
mean,
flies.
time really
Time.
really flies because it doesn't seem. To
Yes.
me, it seems like I'm just starting. To
Believe
be
you me.
honest with you,
Believe you me.
seem like I'm just
Believe
starting.
you me. I feel
Yeah,
the same way.
and I remember the days when we used to practice from morning till night to the next morning, from 7 to 7, 7 in the morning to 7 the next day.
Trust me, there's no one.
Oh man.
Sometimes you wonder if you don't have anything to do, but God had a purpose at the time,
Yes,
because He
yes,
was
yes.
actually building you musically
Right.
without you knowing what will happen in a
But
few years after that.
yeah, the funny thing, after you spend one whole night practicing, the
Mm.
next day you get up and you say, oh man, you don't learn
No.
nothing. It's a
Everything
man,
wipe out.
but it's in your subconscious,
Yes, yes,
I
yes,
guess,
yes.
because you spend so many hours, it
Yes, man.
doesn't really
Hmm.
seem like you're
Yes, man.
learning, but it's in your subconscious.
That's true.
And this brings me back to this quote,
Hmm.
because all those years we
Of
spent,
experience. Hmm.
learning.
Hmm.
No, we can listen to a song. We don't have to,
Hmm.
and I'm sure you can do
Oh,
it.
yes.
We don't have to go around the keyboard
No, that's
to
true.
know exactly what they're doing. We know all the numbers.
Speaking of that, I played at a church this morning, and I never checked the program, and I
Mm,
saw a song for the first time, hearing the song for the first time.
mm,
So that song was supposed to be done right after the sermon. I said, all right, put in the earpod,
mm.
um, listen to the song a few times, and that was it.
Right, right, right. Happens to me too.
It's not a 251, it's that major 3, flat 6, flat 5, and all them things there,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's because of the experience over the years too. That's true.
Mm, mm.
Yes, and I appreciate the years of training that God has given to us. You know,
oh yeah, we are blessed, and
we are blessed.
I'm humbled,
Yeah, man.
for all
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
garnered
Yeah, man.
through the Spirit, through the persons that
Mm-hmm.
came into my life, like
Mm-hmm.
Patrick and Bobby and
Yes, yes.
you,
Well,
because as I said, you had a
yeah,
lot to
man.
do with
Yes.
where I'm at,
Yes,
where
man.
I am at now,
Yeah, man.
So I'm grateful.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's the Pitch podcast. We are. I hope that those who view this video learn something, especially the younger musicians. Any final word before we go? Any final
Sure.
word for the?
Yes, man. God has given us different gifts. It's not for
Hmm,
our own purpose, but it's for others.
right.
And sharing, I believe, is caring. So if you're really anointed, you want to share music. I find musicians these days they don't really share.
Hmm,
They don't share. But
right.
I believe sharing is a part of you also learning.
True.
You know, and there's food for everybody. So if you think that somebody going to take away your gig, not at all, man.
Mm-mm. The
God
more you
provides.
give,
God provides. So
the
you
more.
give unto God, you share, you explain whatever it is, and you'll never believe
True.
the blessing that God has for you.
I can attest to that.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
I
Just
tell
give
you.
it away. It
Give it,
took us
man. I tell you.
years to learn, but just
Yes,
give it
man.
away, and you're
I'm
amazed
telling you. I'm
how
telling you.
things just
I'm
reveal to
telling
you
you.
musically
Because
and otherwise.
we are not here forever, and
Mm.
if we can inspire somebody else's thoughts and allow them
Right,
to
right,
learn too, man.
right,
Allow them
right.
to grow so that they can also pass on to the next generation because music is the ultimate. It's never
Yeah.
ending.
Universal
Universal
language.
language.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Chinese,
sir.
if you give a Chinese a score, if you give a Japan a score, if you
Mm.
give Jamaican a score, it's a universal language. They can all read music. And music touches each and every one of us.
Right, right. Yes, sir, Eddie. So, you want to share your social media handles? I've been encouraged this man to start up his YouTube, man. And I'm gonna continue to encourage him because he has so much. But I know he doesn't have the time,
The
but
time.
with his profession, his work, and so on. But in time. But
In
your
due
social
season,
handles is for Edward Reid Music for Life.
Edward Reid, yes, that's my email. Edward underscore music for life.
Yeah.
That's my email. But Edward Reid,
Hmm.
if you type in Edward Reid YouTube, I have two videos. I have two videos.
Two
you know,
videos, two going to
two going to
2,000.
yes.
All right. So we're going to
I'm
get
off.
some videos up there, you
Yes,
know,
very
in
very soon.
short order.
Very very soon.
Short
You
order.
know.
Yeah, so we are actually at the end of this episode. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for joining us. Before I go, I just want to big up our sponsors. I want to say a big shout out to Feltab Mandeville for facilitating us with this podcast, Pitch Podcast. Big thank you to Pastor Jason and Nicole Edwards. I have so much respect for these leaders, Pastor Reverend Al Miller, Senior Pastor. Big up yourself. I love these leaders. They are great and they appreciate us. So thank you very much. So see you on the next one. Keep it locked. God bless.